Yo, what's going on YouTube? My name is Robert. I came across some very interesting news today. Marriott plans on starting their own home sharing platform to directly compete with Airbnb. This is very interesting to me and I think you guys will want to hear more about this. This is relatively new information and I think it's a great, topic of discussion. So I would love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments down below. What is going on YouTube? As you guys know, I'm a rental arbitrage host here in Springfield, Missouri, and in this video, I'm going to talk about something that may or may not affect what I have going on, right? Like my business venture. What I'm sharing with you today could potentially affect the way that the marketplace works, may affect the supply and the demand of how things are going. So if you guys want to know a little bit more about that, and if you're considering starting the home sharing business or starting anything Airbnb or Homeaway related, I encourage you guys to join my Facebook group. I've already mentioned it a couple times in my videos. It's linked down below. There's quite a bit of hosts in there and there's just plenty of information floating around for any of you guys looking for more information on this. Repeat that time, it's 3:06 a.m. So late. It is very late, but I think that I need to go over a few things that I came across while I was doing my research. So I have been looking into this quite a bit just because I think it's actually a pretty big deal. It's more important than what I'm actually letting on. Like I was just gonna do a brief little video talking about it, but I think it's actually, it should be discussed in more depth because I think this is a very good subject and this video could be a video that does really well simply because of how popular this topic of discussion is. What I think is happening is big retailers and big blue chip companies such as Marriott, they're realizing that they're going to have to adapt to change or they're gonna lose. A great example of this is blockbusters. The streaming services came out, Netflix, HBO, etc. You guys already know the entire story behind that. And blockbusters refused to adapt. They didn't think that it was a threat. They said, hey, that's a completely different category. That's a completely different market. That doesn't affect us at all. But guess what? They're bankrupt. Toys R Us is in the exact same place. They refuse to shift and they refuse to adapt. And what I think Marriott is doing, they're taking full advantage of this disruption, which is what Walmart and Disney and Best Buy, all these companies that adapted to change, they're still around and they're still thriving. So therefore, the fact that Marriott is choosing to be flexible and to work around this home sharing market, that's gonna create brand loyalty, that's gonna have a lot of positive impacts on their business and on what they have going on. But what that does for Airbnb, that just shows that their business model, that the home sharing and the home rental marketplace is a very stable and powerful model, and ultimately the consumers determine who comes out on top. The second thing to take away is that the Marriott model that they're introducing is going to have something called loyalty points, the same way that their hotels work right now, the ritz-carlton, etc. They're gonna have brand loyalty, so if you use their service and if you use their form of accommodation, you get loyalty points that'll help you stay like a loyal brand customer, which Airbnb does not do that. So that is something that they have going for them. So now that you guys can agree with me that the home sharing market is too good for even giants in the hotel industry like Marriott to ignore, let's jump into these articles and get right to the point. Just a little side note before I dive into the article, I got an email today from Homeaway and they're sharing information pretty much letting me know that regulations have been passed in my city and that I should apply for a permit. Luckily for me, as you guys all know, I've been on top of this. I've been on my A game. I'm actually waiting on the city to reply to me with my permit application fully submitted. So as you guys can see, this was sent to me today, April 29th, about an hour ago. This comes from Homeaway Government Relations. So it says the city of Springfield has recently approved a short-term rental ordinance which requires a business license through the license division. A short-term rental is defined as a residential dwelling or a portion thereof that is rented out for less than 30 days, commonly listed on sites such as Homeaway and Vrbo. It pretty much says I need a special permit. Well, you guys already know that I've done that. I've been there, done that. I've done it all because of Airbnb. And surprisingly enough, Airbnb never reached out about this permit requirement. Props to Homeaway for keeping their hosts in on the loop. That's pretty cool. I just wanted to share that with you guys. It always pays to be on top of everything because at this point, there is a density restriction with the short-term rental type 2 permit that they're talking about here. So if I had waited until I got notified from Homeaway or from Airbnb about the regulations, I could have potentially lost my position with my location. So because I was on top of it, because I was following these very carefully, knowing that they were going to be passed soon, I was able to lock in my territory, which will definitely help me and help my business moving forward. All right, now that that is out of the way, I'm going to dive into these articles. First one is from CNBC. This was a Wall Street Journal publication, but I don't have a Wall Street Journal subscription. That's a complete waste of money. Here's a CNBC article pretty much going over the exact same thing that Wall Street Journal was talking about in the article that I read this morning. As you guys can see, this was published April 29, 2019, which is today. And it says, Marriott plans to launch home rental market platform that will compete with Airbnb. This is extremely interesting to me because every single guest that a home sharing platform books, such as Homeaway or Airbnb, that is a guest that a hotel does not get, or that is a customer that a hotel loses, because people who travel, obviously they either stay at a hotel or at an Airbnb. You choose one or the other. It's interesting to me that Marriott, the biggest hotel franchise, has decided to get into the home rental business. That's very interesting. So let's keep on moving. It says Marriott International is gearing up to start a new home rental business with the goal of competing with Airbnb and other home sharing companies, the Wall Street Journal reports. Marriott is the world's largest hotel company and will be the first major hotel company to create a home rental platform for the US, following its pilot program in Europe. So apparently what this says is that in Europe they already tried something along the lines of what Airbnb is. They use a home management company, and they have 340 properties in Paris, Rome, Lisbon, and London. I don't know how this works. Like, I don't know if you have to be part of the home management company to be able to host through Marriott, or however they're doing this in Europe. We'll see how this works in the States when they decide to launch it, because right now it's just up in the air. Will we be able to host on Marriott ourselves, or will they take full control of the franchise or of the home sharing business that they're going into? So as I did a little bit more research on whether or not, we'll be able to host on Marriott's platform just the same way we're able to host on Airbnb's platform, which should be good for us hosts. I came across this article that said they're launching homes and villas to compete with Airbnb. A little bit more about this article. It says Airbnb has proven to be a big disruptor in the traditional hotel market, as all of you guys know. Marriott is hoping to challenge that disruption by starting its own home sharing division that looks to merge the freedom of having your own kitchen with the services and safety of a hotel. So it's launching this new division called Homes and Villas, and it looks like they'll offer about 2,000 luxury properties around the world, ranging from one-bedroom homes to an Irish castle with the latter costing upwards of $10,000 a night. There seems like they're targeting a high-end audience with this new home sharing platform. So the more I read into this article, it looks like there will be a 3-night minimum, and the minimum nightly price starts at $200 a night. So will that directly affect businesses like mine? I really don't think it will, simply because it's a different market. I think, they're targeting a high-end audience. They're targeting people in luxurious locations, and as all of you guys know, my property is the farthest thing from luxurious. It's a dinky 2-bedroom house, and I don't think that falls under the same category as being a luxury property. This is a very interesting part of this article. Among the top 10 US cities with the largest Airbnb market share, hotel revenue dropped 1.5% and resulted in 1.3% fewer booked hotel rooms. This proves that Airbnb has measurable influence on the hotel market and could factor into Marriott's entry into the home sharing business. Like I said before, we are directly competing with hotels when we are starting this business. Anyone that's booking with your Airbnb or booking with an Airbnb in general, they are a customer that the hotels lose. So keep that in mind, guys. There's a huge industry revolving around accommodation, around hotels. And the fact that you're able to get in there and operate your own version of accommodation and keep the money for yourself. I love what the internet has been able to do and how innovation has created these opportunities for people like you and I to get in there and actually have a piece of the pie for ourselves. To wrap this up, it says that there hasn't been an official announcement from Marriott, so specific launch dates aren't available, while the prices will likely be higher than Airbnb. Marriott's strategy of merging hotels with the space and freedom of a home may be enough to sway many potential guests. They have a point, they have a point when it comes to that. So guys, to wrap this up, I really don't think that my operation will be directly affected by this. It seems like they're targeting upscale and luxury homes. That's something that I'm not involved with. Maybe anyone who is involved with those, you guys might need to do something to obviously adapt to the change. But what this makes me realize is that the home sharing industry is here to stay. It's a very powerful industry, and it's taking over the accommodation marketplace. That is 100% fact. As you guys can see, even major hotel franchises, like the biggest one ever, Marriott, they're trying to tap into this industry, trying to get a piece of the pie. So that brings me to the question, if you've ever considered this, there's no better time to start than right now, when people like you and I actually have a chance at getting something like this going. That's what I'm gonna wrap this video up with. It doesn't really steer me away from the idea of home sharing or doing Airbnb. It actually makes me more excited, knowing that I'm doing something that has a solid foundation. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you agree with me, let me know, and if you don't, that's fine. Everyone has their own opinion, but this is my own opinion on this. I just think it validates the home sharing space. It validates how powerful using platforms like Airbnb and Homeaway to your advantage actually is, and that's honestly my opinion. Thank you guys once again for staying tuned. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts, and hit subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you guys all in my Facebook group if you have not joined it yet. Thank you guys for everything, and thank you guys for the support, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.